Hello my friends and welcome back to Three-Legged Dog Yoga. If you are new here, I am Lindsay and today's class is just a nice flow. So it's kind of targeting everything, but it's mostly just one to flow. So let's just breathe. We're gonna do some longer holds. It's gonna be a little fiery. We're gonna get a little bit of a sweat on, but it's nothing too crazy and it should be some fun. So if you're a beginner, you can totally do this. Beginner friendly. I won't be cueing any blocks or anything, but if you do use those in your regular practice, I encourage you to grab those now. Other than that, let's get started. Let's begin today's class at the top of the mat. Standing up nice and tall in Tadasana. Maybe gently closing the eyes. Just taking a few deep breaths here. Starting to slow down the breathing. Now let's bring our hands to heart center and let's place the thumbs against the chest. And we'll just start slowing down the breath here, starting to bring some Ujjayi breathing into our practice. So just adding that soft constriction at the back of the throat. And just feeling the movement, feeling the vibrations through the thumbs, through the hands as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Softly opening the eyes. Let's inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, look up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. Coming down either through knees or through your chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Just starting to pedal out the feet here in our first downward dog of the day. Nice slow movements, maybe shuffling through the hips a bit. Finding any movements your body might crave. And then eventually finding some stillness. We'll be here for 5 breaths. So pressing the floor away with those hands. Take a deep bend into the knees, send those hips up, and then as we send the hips up, we start straightening the legs. Possibly as we do so, the heels reach towards the floor. Not worrying if they touch, just sending them down towards the floor. And then as we do so, we send the back of the hips, press them up against the back wall. Breast stays nice and bright here, really gripping the floor with all of those fingers. And the thumb, also the thumb. 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale, gaze between the hands, step up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. 1 more time, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Look up. Exhale, step back, come down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, send the hips up, downward facing dog. Shift the weight into that left foot. Wait for your next inhale and then draw that right foot up towards the ceiling, keeping the hips nice and square here. So you can really feel that left leg working. As soon as we start opening that hip, it becomes a different stretch. So we want to keep the hips nice and square. And then we're squeezing through that right glute, working with the right hamstring. Sending that right foot up towards the sky for three-legged dog. And then exhale, drop the foot. We'll shift the weight over to the right side. Wait for your inhale, and then same thing on the left. Really squeezing through those glutes. Pressing that heel of that right foot up and away. And then exhale. Draw that foot down. And then wait for the inhale. Step up to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center. Let's take a big step back with that right foot. You might need to widen the stance a little bit here to make it a bit more stable. We'll pivot onto the ball of the foot, and then as we exhale, we drop the hips down for our high lunge. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Keeping that core engaged and lifted. We're not arching the lower back. Through that core. Checking in with that front knee, making sure we can still see that big toe. And then on your next inhale, let's just draw the arms back, come into a mini back bend. And then exhale, hinge at the hips as we drop our hands down ahead of us. If you'd like to drop the back knee here, you're welcome to. If this is enough, stay here, lifting through that chest. And if you have it in your practice to come down to the forearms, you can do so. Listening to your own body. Really reaching that chest forward and then sending it down to the floor in our lizard posture here. Trying to keep the weight as much as we can in both of the arms so we're not dumping through that right shoulder. And then if your right foot is tucked, if your right foot is untucked, let's tuck the toe, raise the knee. We'll step up and then we'll just walk the hands all the way over to the opposite side. Coming into our high lunge on the opposite side. Wait for the inhale. Come all the way up. And then exhale, sink into those hips. Nice strong pose, facing the back of our mats now. Checking in once again with that front toe. And then on your next inhale, add a little back bend. And exhale, drop the hands forward. Maybe dropping that back knee, and you might want to heel toe that right foot out just a little bit. Inhale, chest comes forward, and then exhale, sink into it again. If you have it forearms in your practice, then do so on this side as well. Inhale brings you lift, and exhale maybe brings that chest a little bit deeper to the floor, a little bit closer to the floor. If there's any pinching or any tingling, just come out of this a bit. We never want to hurt ourselves. We do want to stretch. And then inhale, come back up to the hands, tuck that back toe, pivot on the feet. This time let's take a pause with the feet parallel to the short edge of the mat. Keep the fingers down on the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale, lead with the chest. Come down to a forward fold. If you can reach opposite ankles, you can grab those. Again, checking in with that core, checking in with the lower back, making sure we're not rounding into this. And we're also not sending our lower belly into an anterior tilt. I want to keep a nice flat back, keep the core engaged. And don't worry about how far you come down. Inhale, let's place those hands underneath the head, and then we'll just shift back up to front. Step that front foot up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands through heart center. All right, let's once again step that right foot back. This time, we're going to drop the back knee down, untuck those toes. If you need a little bit of extra padding, you can roll. And then inhale, arms come up. Exhale, sink down for low lunge. So we want to try and keep that left knee over the left ankle. And again, checking in with that front toe, making sure the knee isn't falling in or out. Really reaching through those arms. And then on the exhale, send the hips back, draw those left toes up towards you, and reach that chest forward for our half splits. On the inhale, let's plant that foot. Plant the right hand beside that left foot. Tuck the back toe. Inhale, bring that left arm up. If you'd like to add on, draw that left knee off of the floor. Coming into a twist to our left side. Really pressing through that right hand, making sure we're not dumping into that right shoulder. Left foot is working. And then as we exhale, let's frame the foot, step it back. All the way to the floor. Awesome. Untucking the toes. Wait for the inhale. Roll up into cobra. And exhale down. 2 more like that. Inhale, cobra. Squeeze those shoulder blades and those elbows together. Exhale down. Inhale. And exhale down. Tuck the toes. Send the hips back up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, step that right foot forward. Drop the back knee. Untuck the toes. Wait for your next inhale. Come all the way up. Anjaneyasana on the opposite side. Low lunge. Keeping the core engaged. Reaching those hands up nice and high. Shoulders sink away from the ears. And then inhale, shift the hips back. Draw those toes up towards the shin. Reach the chest down for half splits. Inhale, come forward. Place that left hand beside the right foot. Open that right arm up nice and high. And again, if you'd like to add on, tuck the toes and lift that back knee. Keeping that right foot working. Pressing down through the mat. Squeezing those thighs to bring us a little bit of lift. The inner thighs, rather. And exhale, frame the foot. Step it back. Once again, we'll come through our plank. And we'll exhale slowly down to the floor. Awesome. This time, let's plant our hands just beside us, underneath the shoulders. We'll take an inhale. We're going to raise the heels off the floor. And then exhale, come down. So this, we're really pushing that pelvic bone into the floor as we raise up nice and high. And then exhale down. And then if you'd like to add on, you can inhale the legs up and then practice raising those hands off the floor as well. Exhale down, and we'll do it one more time, and this time we will hold. So inhale, squeeze those legs together, lift them off the floor, pressing down through the pelvic bone. Keeping hovering those hands off the floor. And then exhale, come down. Let's press all the way back through child's pose. We'll just stay here, one nice big deep breath. And then we'll just roll all the way up and flip forward. Shifting the hips up to the middle of the mat, and then we'll roll down onto our backs. Awesome, great work. So let's bring our heels of our feet towards our sit bones. If you can touch the heels of your feet, great. And then let's start rolling onto the shoulders. So we'll draw the bottom of the neck off the mat. And then as we do so, we can start lifting the hips and sending them up to the sky. As you start doing this, I want you to see if your legs fall out towards the side. And if they do, really squeeze them together as if there's a block in between your legs. And if you do have the tendency to let your legs splay out, then this is a great one to do with blocks. Maybe clasping the hands behind the back and pressing up through those hips. Squeezing those legs together. One more deep breath here. And then as we exhale, we come down nice and slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Awesome. Let's extend that left leg down, step the right foot over the knee. You might need to shift the hips over a little bit to the right-hand side. Hands come out nice and wide, and we'll just draw that right knee to the floor. So if that right shoulder pops up, if that right shoulder pops up, let's send it down towards the floor. It might mean your knee will come up a little bit. That is totally okay. You'd rather have the shoulder on the floor than the knee. And then maybe adding on, gazing over that right hand. Maybe closing the eyes. And then inhale, come back through center, and we will switch sides. So if you've shifted the hips, shift them back through center, extend the right leg. We'll step the left foot over the right thigh, shift the hips over to the left side, and then same thing. Drawing that right knee across the body. Again, trying to keep that left shoulder this time pressing down towards the floor. And maybe adding on and gazing over that left shoulder. Inhaling that head back through center if it was over the shoulder. Hands out nice and wide. And then we'll shift the hips back to neutral. Nice deep breath here. And then we'll inhale. Bring those knees up and give ourselves a nice big hug. And then slowly rocking up to seated. Let's come into a cross-legged position. Sit up nice and tall. Closing the eyes. And let's just start relaxing the breath, just coming to the natural state of breath. And we'll close our practice today with one big sigh. So exhale all the air out. Big inhale. And exhale, sigh it all out. Softly opening the eyes. That is all for the practice today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.